Hello, I have some incredible, affordable drugstore dupes and alternatives for high-end makeup products to share with you today. I'm so excited about some of the products I have here. It's been about 3 months since my last dupes video. It takes a while to put them together because I'm very particular when it comes to dupes. Dupes videos are everywhere here and on other social media platforms, and many times something's called a dupe simply because the packaging or a quick swatch is similar to the high-end makeup product, but that doesn't really tell the full story. I spend a lot of time swatching and blending products out to find really great dupes. I look more at the end result, even if the formulations are a little bit different. Some of these are really spot on, while others are great, affordable alternative options if you're on a budget or you're just not wanting to spend the money on the high-end makeup product, if you're wanting to save a little bit of money. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, and let's go ahead and get into these fantastic makeup dupes that I think you're gonna love. Tower 28 Swipe All Over Hydrating Serum Concealer is one of my favorite, most reached for concealers on a daily basis for my dry under eyes with fine lines, texture, dark circles, and under eye hollows. I have a lot of under eye issues going on. I'm very picky about what I use on my under eye area because of that. I do have an entire video on how to effectively conceal dark circles with under eye hollows. That's helped a lot of people out. If you're interested in that, I'll have it linked up in the corner and down below in my description box with everything I'm sharing and wearing today. And I'll have most things that I can linked through the YouTube shopping icons, but they don't always have every option, especially not the drugstore products. So if you don't see something that you're looking for, definitely check my description box. The description says this gives medium coverage, but I find it to be buildable from medium to slightly more than medium full coverage, depending on how much I layer it and whether or not I wear it over a corrector, which I almost always do with concealers to counterbalance the discoloration under my eyes. This wears beautifully alone or over corrector. It's hydrating, creamy, buildable, weightless, smoothing, and flattering. And it's designed for sensitive skin. It's non-irritating, it's fragrance-free and alcohol-free. And because it's a serum concealer, there are some fantastic skincare ingredients in here to address the under eye issues that a lot of us face. It has lysine, which I've never seen in another concealer before. It helps support collagen production and repairs and prevents dryness. It also has hyaluronic acid to keep your under eye area smooth, supple, and bouncy. And it has centella extract to soothe and calm sensitive skin. So I'm narrowing down my top favorite under eye concealers for mature skin at all price points for an upcoming video. And I was playing around with NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer, which I've used many times before. It's one of my favorite drugstore concealers, but it suddenly dawned on me how similar it is to Tower 28 Swipe All Over Concealer. Even the descriptions are very similar. So all the things I said before about Tower 28 being creamy, hydrating, weightless, smoothing, and flattering, they all apply to Bare With Me as well. Bare With Me also gives medium buildable coverage that builds up to medium full, yet never looks cakey, just like the Tower 28. Now, when I'm wearing a corrector underneath, which is almost all the time when I'm wearing concealer, I really can't tell a difference in the coverage level between the two. I can tell a slight difference when I don't wear corrector. I may see a hair less coverage with Bare With Me, but it layers well over itself if you want to build it up. NYX also notes in their description that it's designed for all skin types, but specifically dry, sensitive, or stressed skin. And the properties of the skincare ingredients that are in NYX Bare With Me do very similar things to those that are in Tower 28. So it also has centella extract to soothe and calm, but NYX notes that it also improves collagen production and fights signs of aging, repairs and protects your skin. NYX uses tremella mushroom to boost hydration and fight inflammation, as well as signs of aging. And they included green tea, which is a powerful antioxidant that also moisturizes and helps depuff the under eye area. These are housed a little bit differently. You have a pump here with NYX Bare With Me, and then a doe foot applicator with the Tower 28 in a glass tube. But I hope you can see on the back of my hand how similar they look in consistency. I have two shades on the back of of my hand, shade light and beige. I'll sometimes mix them together to get a shade that's a little bit closer to DTLA, which is my shade in Tower 28. I think Tower 28 being $22 for 0.22 ounces is actually pretty good for a high-end serum concealer that provides so much. But NYX Bear With Me is $12 for 0.32 ounces, so you can get two shades to mix and play around with for around the same price of one Tower 28. I still love my Tower 28, but I think NYX Bear With Me is a great, affordable drugstore dupe option. These Patrick Ta cream powder blush duos are insanely popular for good reason. I mean, you get a lot for the $38 that you pay, and the quality is really nice. So you have a powder and a cream blush to layer for more dimension, more longevity. You don't have to think about it if you want to layer products, or you can reach for them individually. Now, this shade, Do We Know Her, I fell in love with right away. I think it's beautiful for this time of year, but it seems to be no longer in existence. I have no idea why such a beautiful shade would be discontinued. So many times when I hunt for dupes, it's to find you a less expensive product or to find you something similar to a product that is no longer around. So this is kind of a 2-in-1. I've been hunting for months for some kind of drugstore alternative for this cream blush specifically. It's just so beautiful and nothing even came close until recently, and I think I finally found you a great drugstore alternative. Now it is in stick format, but remember, it's about the end result, not the packaging. So this is the Catrice Cheek Flirt Blush Stick in the shade R in Peach. Now even when they're swatched initially on the back of my hand before they're blended out, there is a shade difference. But a lot of times with blushes, bronzers, contours, highlighters, products that you diffuse out on your face, they don't look similar upon swatching them, but when you blend them out, the difference is pretty much undetectable, and that's how these are. Both formulas are very creamy, buildable, and easy to work with, and they don't remain sticky or tacky, and the longevity is really nice for this Catrice product. Sometimes that's an issue with drugstore makeup, but I've been very, very pleased. Now, I wasn't initially looking for a powder blush option because I thought, you know, it's peach. How hard is that? But it turns out there is a nude undertone here. It's very hard to achieve with a lot of peaches because they end up blending out very bright or more orangey. There's just something that's not quite right. So I have 4 shades here on the back of my hand. The one to the far left is Patrick Ta. The one next to it is Catrice Air Matte Blush in Peach Heaven, which turns out to be a little bit brighter and lighter, even though they look fairly close here. I mean, kind of. And then the next one is the blush from the e.l.f. Face Duo in Guava. This to me looks really close upon that initial swatch. And then on a whim, I grabbed Sephora Shame on You, which doesn't look that close in the pan, but looks fairly close upon initial swatch. Now, when they're all blended out, I think Sephora is the closest. So there are a few options for you depending on what you're looking for, but like I said, my main goal was this cream blush, and I think Catrice Cheek Flirt in R in Peach is a great drugstore dupe alternative for Patrick Ta. Do We Know Her? This is probably my most random dupe in this video, but it's probably the one I'm the most excited about because I've been on the hunt for an option for this product forever, it seems, for a very specific reason, and I finally found one that is an exact dupe. Now this is a beauty product, but it's not a makeup product, but I had to put it in this video because I'm so excited about it. So this is my favorite tool for doing gua sha. I have a video on how I perform gua sha to depuff in the morning and give my face a slight lift, and how I use it for lymphatic drainage. I know it's helped a lot of you out. I'll have it linked up in the corner and down below in my description box. But the reason why this particular gua sha tool is my favorite is because it's a cooling cryo stainless steel gua sha, so it's a little bit thicker, and I find that thickness just gives a really nice glide and movement over my skin. And there's liquid inside here, so you can store it in the refrigerator. It stays cool a really long time, but I find I don't need to keep it chilled to get a cooling effect. I love using this in the morning because it's just excellent for depuffing. It feels really good. Now this one is from Beauty Pie, which is kind of funny because typically Beauty Pie will be a dupe in a video. The reason why I've been hunting for a dupe for so long is because this is almost always out of stock on the Beauty Pie website. I get asked about it a lot in comments when I've sourced it for you, because you'll go to the link and it says product not available, and there has never been anything similar, an alternative for me to link you to. But a couple of weeks ago, I was on Amazon and this showed up for me out of nowhere, and I thought, that looks just like my Beauty Pie Gua Sha that may be discontinued now. I don't know. It hasn't been on the website for a really long time. So I ordered it to see if they were similar, and I see no differences whatsoever, except that there's a name printed on this one. It comes with a pouch and it's $16.99, and there are some different colors to choose from, which is a nice little touch. So this is a case where I just wanted to find a product that existed, because the original may or may not be discontinued. I'm not sure, but we have another option and I'm so happy about it, because this is a holy grail product for me. This dupe is a formula dupe. My two shades are different from one another, but the formulas are so similar. So this is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Skin Enhancer. The shade that I have is medium, and this is made to use as a skin tint all over, or you can apply it where the sun hits your face as you would a typical bronzer, and it's just got this creamy, balmy formula that's enhanced with skincare ingredients, and it gives just a really nice skin evening finish when you use it all over. But even when you use it as a bronzer, it's perfecting in such a subtle way. You basically can't mess this up because of how sheer and buildable it is, and it doesn't leave me feeling greasy either. Sometimes with balm formulas, they can leave me feeling very greasy. Now, when I first tried the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Diamond Bronzer in a trying new makeup video, I remember noting that the finish on top made it look like it was going to be a powder, but it wasn't. It was instead a very sheer, creamy, balmy formula that just blended onto my skin so beautifully. Now, ideally, I would have this in the deeper shade, but again, this is a formula dupe. These formulas are so similar, and the Makeup by Mario is $32 for 0.18 ounce, and Physicians Formula runs around $15 or $16 for 0.2 ounces. So if you're not wanting to spend the money on Makeup by Mario and you want a pretty spot-on formula, this is a really great drugstore alternative, dupe, whatever we're calling this. This is great. The brow pen portion of this Valentino Brow Trio became a holy grail product for me very, very quickly. I have sparse hairs, and when I use a brow pen or a pencil, it doesn't really matter. There are places in my eyebrows where I really need to mimic a brow hair, and even with the other pens that I've used that I've really liked, it was always a bit of an effort to use a light enough hand so that the line didn't end up too dark and look just too heavy or dark or unnatural. This is just an effortless, very, very fine tipped brow pen that I just love. It's $40, which, that's a lot for a brow pen. I mean, you also do get a pencil and a spoolie, but I'm focusing on the brow pen portion. I have this in brown, and I have Maybelline Build-A-Brow in ash brown, and this reminds me so much of the Valentino. It has an extremely fine tip. It's very easy to use. I don't have to concentrate to use a light enough hand to make it work easily. I swatched the Valentino here and the Maybelline here. I'm not sure if the shades are, right on point, but the fineness of the tip is there. And I did look up the amount in the pen portion, and it's almost exactly the same. You get 0.014 fluid ounces in Maybelline and 0.013 in Valentino, and Maybelline is $12 versus $40 for Valentino. Now, will I still use Valentino? Probably, but I have found myself reaching more for Maybelline Build-A-Brow on a day-to-day basis. Now, you'll probably notice that the cap is no longer here that contains the clear brow gel. I didn't find the brow gel to hold my brows that strongly, and I wanted a spoolie on the end, so I just took that off, wiped off the spoolie, and now I have a brow pen with a spoolie. Problem solved. This is a fantastic, finely tipped brow pen that I've been reaching for day in and day out. Too Faced Cloud Crush blushes are favorites of mine, but this shade in particular, Golden Hour, I just love and have been reaching for a lot this spring and summer. It's this kind of muted peachy pink satin shade. It's really brightening. I love this formula because it's sheer, yet it builds. You basically can't mess it up, and it sort of airbrushes your skin and diffuses imperfections while it just gives you a nice glow. Now these are $29, which may be fine, but you know, it may be a little bit much. And I happen to be looking at the Wet n Wild Color Icon blush that I have in Pinch Me Pink, and I realized these look very, very similar in the pan. And it turns out that they actually look really similar on my skin as well. This is that same muted peachy pink shade with a satin finish. It's sheer, it's buildable, and it wears really well. I should probably switch these because I have the Too Faced shade on this side and Wet n Wild on this side. I've had these on for hours and hours and hours. They both look great. Now the Too Faced packaging is very, very cute, very giftable. But if you're not wanting to spend the $29 for that, Pinch Me Pink is a great option that will cost you between $3 and $4. This is a rare instance where I tried the dupe version, the less expensive option, before I even had the high-end version. I actually didn't realize there was a higher-end version. So I've been wearing both off and on, trying to figure out how they differ from one another. So this is the viral Judy Doll Curling Iron Mascara. It's got this very slim, long curling iron shaped wands with grooves in it. This is specifically designed for very short, stubborn, hard to curl, hard to hold a curl Asian lashes. And I originally tried this to see if it would actually hold my curl because I have lashes that just do not hold a curl. And I ended up really, really liking this. So I didn't know that Surratt has a higher end version of this. So I actually ended up getting a PR package from them, and it had this tiny little mascara. And when I pulled it out, I was very surprised to see that it had the same long curling iron type wand. It's actually a little bit shorter, the grooved part, than the Judy Doll mascara. The Judy Doll mascara runs a little over $7, whereas the Surratt mascara runs a little over $50. So I wanted to see if it was worth the extra price for the Surratt. Now I've used both of these many, many times just randomly on a day-to-day basis. And you can see me applying Surratt on this eye in the application and Judy Doll on this eye. And with that one coat, I get a nice curl that is held. Now I do typically need to comb out my lashes with a lash comb because I just always have to do that. But the curl looks really nice. So you can add more coats and get more volume and length. I do think that Surratt has a slightly wetter formula. And unless you see something I'm not seeing, I feel like I get a little bit more volume and length with it. But I think when I wear just these, when I don't layer a non-waterproof mascara over them, they're pretty on par with one another. Now where I see the difference is when I layer a regular, dramatic, non-waterproof lengthening volumizing mascara over these. If I use these as a first coat to hold my curl. Judy Doll will sometimes get weighed down and my lashes will straighten, whereas Surratt always holds my curl without fail. So that is where I notice the difference. But if you're just wearing this on a day-to-day basis, I see very little difference. I think this is a great dupe or alternative that's a lot less money, especially as fast as we go through mascara. But they're both really great. This was something I just really wanted to share in this video because I know there's a lot of curiosity about this type of mascara right now, but you know, they're both good. I probably do favor Surratt a little bit more, but it's pretty expensive. And if you're not wanting to spend that, Judy Doll is great. I don't know anybody, including myself, that doesn't love their Makeup Forever HD Skin Face Essentials palette. I have the lighter one, but there are two to choose from, and you have basically everything you need in here for a full face: cheek shades, highlighters, a contour, bronzer, and even some cream face shades to use as foundation or concealer. It's basically a full face in a palette. But this is $88, which is very expensive. So this is a drugstore or affordable alternative that I wanted to include in this video because I think we can see the inspiration here, but it doesn't have clearly everything in it that this does. This is the Catrice Magic Shaper Face Palette, which has a contour, bronzer, 2 cheek shades, and 2 highlighters. So you clearly don't have everything in here. You don't have those face products, the concealer, foundation shades, but this is a $88 instead of $88. So you're paying 10 times less. You can also probably clearly see that the contour in here, that middle deep shade, is a lot deeper than the contour that's in my palette. It's probably more in line with the contour in the deep palette from Makeup Forever, but I only had these to work with, so that's what you're seeing me apply. For demonstration purposes, I'm just showing you the contour and then the two coral blush shades in the palettes, this one and this one, because they're pretty spot on. The reason why I didn't demonstrate the highlighters is because I really just don't like the highlighters in here. I find them to have too much obvious glimmer to them. These are slightly more pigmented, but I can use less product and diffuse it out and get a very similar result. It's creamy, it's easy to work with, it wears well, and it's just kind of an extra that I wanted to share with you if you weren't aware that this existed. I would say you get 6 shades here, but for me it's really just the 4. For $8 though, that's really good, and I've had really nice luck with these as opposed to the $88 Makeup Forever palette that you just may not want to spend your money on. It's a lot of money, even though it is a great product, but you know, you have another option. On this eye today, I have the Laura Mercier Caviar Stick in the shade Amethyst. I just scribbled it on my eyelid and blended it out and kind of into my crease with a brush. I've always loved this shade and I've never seen anything similar to it, high end or low, until Milani launched their gilded eyeshadow sticks. And that's what I have on this eye in the shade Lily. It's very similar to Amethyst from Laura Mercier. I just couldn't get over it when I figured that out, but instead of paying $33 for a full-sized Laura Mercier Caviar stick, Milani gilded eyeshadow sticks run somewhere around $12 depending on where you buy them from or if they're on sale. And I actually have another Laura Mercier Milani Caviar eye stick dupe that I'm also really excited about. The shade Copper is a very popular shade, and I found that Milani Desert is pretty spot on. I mean, you can't even tell when it's on your eyes. I'm very picky when it comes to eyeshadow sticks or one and done shadows in general, and both of these are very creamy. They don't dry down to where they make your lids look crinkly or dry, and they wear well. So I was really excited about these. I actually have some more Laura Mercier eye stick dupes that I'm saving for another video, but I have been doing a lot of swatching. I feel like we haven't heard much about NARS Air Matte blushes in a while, but they were all the rage for a while. The formula is a creamy, lightweight, buildable mousse that kind of transforms into a powder, and they wear really nicely. The one I have here is in the shade Freedom, and I noticed that my e.l.f. putty blush in the shade Tahiti is very, very close. And these have a lightweight putty texture that transforms into a soft powder finish. NARS has more pigment upon initial swipe, but when they're blended out, you cannot tell a difference. NARS is $30 and e.l.f. is $7, so there's quite a significant savings here, and you're still getting a product that's easy to work with and flattering and that wears well throughout the day. You can see more affordable dupes and alternatives for high-end products here, so be sure to check those out too. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.